Hello, and thank you for joining me for another installment, our sixth installment of our reading of The Family Under the Bridge by Natalie Savage Carlson. My name is Miss April, and I'm the youth librarian at Janaden Hutton Public Library. If you are participating in the AR program, the Accelerated Reader Program, this book is a level 4.7 and worth 3 points. Today we will be reading Chapter 6. Let's begin. The children's desire for a house on wheels worried Armand. Now, wouldn't it take them to think up something like that? You don't need to have Father Christmas bring you a house now, he said. Tinka will let you live in that one with her. And Paul will be comfortable in the tent. But we want our own house, said Susie. A house for our family to live in. Then we can take the wheels off so we can stay in one place. No, let's leave the wheels on, cried Paul. Let's keep moving to new places. I'd like to live like a gypsy. But if you move all the time, you won't be able to go to school, Susie reminded him. Paul looked as if that was not worrying him. The inside of the house on wheels was as nice as the outside. A big feather bed filled the back of it. There were shelves running all along the walls, and brightly scrubbed copper pans hung over a tiny stove. Susie could see that the little house was the tidiest place in the gypsy camp. We put more feather beds on the floor at night so we can all sleep here, explained Tinka. All the girls. But we can't muss anything because Mother keeps a neat house. They stayed in the house on wheels for a long time. Tinka squatted on the floor and told them stories of her travels. Every spring we go way down the province on the Mediterranean Sea, she said. We camp among old Roman ruins and bathe in warm streams. Will you come to Provence with us? Susie was tempted but shook her head stubbornly. I have to go to school, she said. I don't think Mama would go anyway, and we couldn't go without her. We're a family, and we have to stick together. Tinka understood. We gypsies stick together too, she said. The time went so fast that Armand had almost forgotten about the children's mother. You wait here and I'll go fetch her, he said as he noticed that it was almost dark. He hurried back through the streets where the snow had turned into water. The halls were noisier and busier than ever because most of the work there took place during the night when the great trucks rolled in from all over France, bringing food to hungry Paris. It was dark by the time he reached the bridge. He caught Madame Calcette just in time. She was already descending the steps. At first, she wouldn't even listen to him. She hastened down without turning her head. But when she saw that her children and all their belongings were gone, she was only too willing to listen. She burst into tears when Armand told her about the two women. Why can't they leave me in peace with my children, she said. I'm only trying to keep my family together. It's all right, madame, said Armand, patting her shoulder. The nestlings are safe with some good friends of mine, and you will be welcome there too. I should have thought of it before. It's so much better than under the bridge. Madame Calcette stopped crying and followed him back toward the halls. I want to apologize to you, she said humbly. You are a good man. Armand felt uncomfortable. Wait until you meet my friends, he said. He was certain that she would not thank him when she saw them. All the way through the dimly lit streets, Madame Calcette followed several steps behind him. Armand knew it was because she was ashamed to be seen with a hobo. But he did not let that bother him. He had lost his pride long ago. Work at the halls had reached a fever peak the third time he went through it. Now the woman had to stay close to him so that she would not get lost. They were pushed by baskets, and once Madame Calcette was almost run over by a truck. It was a relief to get back into the dark alleys. But when Armand led his companion through the wooden fence, the woman acted in a way he had expected. Her eyes flashed wide at the sight before them. The dusky gypsies were gathered around a campfire. The building peaks rising behind them made the scene one of a lonely gypsy camp at the foot of the bearish Spanish mountain, instead of in the crowded heart of Paris. One of the men was playing a guitar and a girl was dancing. Behind her pranced Tinka, trying to learn those steps by heart. and the firelight fell on 3 red-headed children, clapping their hands in time to the music. "Gypsies!" shrieked Madame Cowset. "You have brought us 2 gypsies?" Then, in her shame and despair, she started sobbing bitterly into her twisted scarf. "Madame," said Armand, "you cry so much that you will bring down the rain." "To think we have fallen so low," wept the woman. "My children at home with gypsies." "What is wrong with gypsies?" asked Armand. "Why do you think you are better? Are you kinder? Are you more generous?" "I'm honest," murmured the woman through her scarf. "What good does it do to be honest if you aren't kind and generous?" he asked. Then in a softer tone he said, "You may think them thieves and wanderers, madame, but they are workers too. They are proud of their fine metalwork, and they have a right to be. They are expert craftsmen. Can you mend a pan that has half of the bottom burned out?" "They are thieves," persisted Madame Cowset. "They mean no harm," said the hobo. "They don't know there's a commandment against stealing, and you've been doing a lot of talking about families sticking together." "Well, we're all God's big poor family, so we need to stick together and help each other." Madame Cowset began drying her eyes on her scarf. "I have nowhere else to take the children," she admitted. "The room my sister-in-law told me about is more than I can pay. I must be grateful for shelter, I guess." The gypsies received her courteously, and Morelli even offered to tell her fortune, although Madame Cowset refused. Tinka brought her a bowl of stew to eat by the fireside. "It's good pigeon stew," she explained. "My Uncle Nicky catches them in the square. He has very swift hands." Madame Cowset looked distastefully at the stew, but hunger triumphed. "It is really very good," she admitted after the first spoonful. The 3 children gathered around their mother's skirts. "It is so much nicer here than under the bridge," said Paul. "And you must see the darling little house on wheels," cried Susie. "Monsieur Armand is going to tell Father Christmas to bring us one." "You may sleep in it," Morelli politely told Madame Cowset. "There is a soft bed for you and your girls in the back." "You are very kind," said Madame Cowset, "but I expect to pay you for our stay here." "We do not take money from our friends," said Morelli proudly, "only from strangers." Then she disappeared behind a tent. Susie found it more fun to sleep on a feather bed on the floor with the gypsy children. Early the next morning, Madame Cowset returned to her job. Later, the gypsy men left to canvass the restaurants for more pots and pans to mend. "I guess you are having your Christmas vacation from school now," Susie said to Tinka, since the children remained in the courtyard. "We have vacation all the time," said Tinka. "We don't go to school." Susie was shocked. "Then how do you learn to read and write?" she asked. "We don't know how to read or write," said Tinka. Susie was even more shocked. "Then I will teach you," she said. "We will have school this morning." She brought out her well-rubbed piece of coal. She had plenty of blank walls to use for a blackboard. She carefully printed each letter of the alphabet, naming it as she wrote. Armand was stretched out on the ground with a piece of firewood for a pillow. He was watching the little schoolteacher with good humor. "You the one who's been writing all those signs on walls and posts telling folks to go home?" he asked. Susie gravely shook her head. Then she held out coal to Tinka. "Now you copy them," she ordered. Tinka gave her a fox-like grin. Below Susie's letters, she quickly drew 2 circles, one inside the other. Susie frowned. "That isn't a letter. It doesn't mean anything." "Oh, yes, it does," said Tinka, grinning. "If you see that sign near a gate, it means that the people who live inside are good and generous." She quickly scratched an upright line, then crossed it with 2 short bars. "But that sign means that beggars will be badly received. Perhaps the people will even set the dog on them." Armand came to life. "I'll remember that," he said. "Seems like I went to the wrong school. Never learned such useful reading." Tinka laughed. She mischievously batted her eyelashes at Susie. "See," she said, "there is some writing you can't read." Susie was willing to be a pupil as well as a teacher. "I like to learn new things," she told Tinka. Now you teach me some more gypsy riding." Armand stiffly rose to his feet. "It's getting too highbrow for me around here," he said. "Think I'll take a little walk over town." This time the children did not plead to be taken along. They were no longer bored and lonely. Although Paul and the boys had quickly lost interest in Susie's school, they were all playing a game of wolf and sheep between the tents. But Susie had one request. "Will you please go to the Louvre store, Monsieur Armand?" she asked, "and tell Father Christmas where to bring our house? And that we'll be satisfied if he brings us a little one on wheels like Tinka's?" Armand nodded. "That's right," he remembered. "Not much time left. Tomorrow night is Christmas Eve." That brings us to the end of Chapter 6. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you will join me for Chapter 7. See you soon.